Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 10 Part 38 based on novel. So let's start. The vast and mighty mental energy which pervaded the land persisted for a while before it finally began to pull back like a receding tide. Within a short span of several breaths, the land regained its silence once more. In a certain cave within the heavenly cave, Lindong's eyes, which had been tightly shut for a long time, slowly opened. No light surged within those pitch-black eyes. The only things within them was an abstruse night-like feeling and a blankness from not having adapted to his surroundings. The light within the quiet cave appeared rather gentle while the fresh smell of soil penetrated the smooth cave walls. Such tranquility made one subconsciously relax. However, this tranquil atmosphere felt extremely foreign as he stared at it. Although his appearance had not changed, the expression surging within his eyes made it seem as if he had been cut off from this world. Only 3 months had passed in the outside world. However, Lindong had spent over a decade within the lonely purgatory. This was not a short period of time. During these 10 years, he had not rested as he was constantly struggling within the cruel purgatory. Yang stood by the side and quietly watched Lindong, whose blank gaze contained feelings of unfamiliarity. He did not speak out to the latter. This was normal. However, he believed that Lindong would be able to very quickly recover and regain his memory from before he entered purgatory. Candlelight swayed within the quiet cave. Lindong silently sat on the stone platform for the greater part of the day. Finally, he deeply inhaled a breath of air as his face began to regain the expression that Yang was familiar with. How much time has passed outside? Lindong lifted his head and smiled as he looked at Yang and asked. Only 3 months. Yang replied. Only 3 months, huh? Lindong's expression was complicated as he sighed. Who could have imagined that these peaceful 3 months in the outside world would be so long and cruel in his eyes? However, you have benefited a lot. Yang smilingly said as his eyes paused on Lindong. He very clearly felt the vast and mighty mental energy that had surged out from the latter's body earlier. Lindong had indeed stepped into the symbol Grandmaster level. I have worked hard for so many years. It will be far too embarrassing if I fail to advance. Lindong stretched his waist. After which, he leaped down from the stone platform. Slightly shutting his eyes, he felt the majestic and endless mental energy in his knee place and said, currently, I can only be considered to be an initial symbol Grandmaster. Once you step into the advanced symbol Grandmaster level, even those experts who have touched the reincarnation power will not be a match for you. That won't be easy. Lindong faintly smiled. After his mental energy had reached this level, the amount of effort and hardship needed to advance was tremendous. This time, he had borrowed the power of the eternal illusion demon flowers in order to reach the initial symbol Grandmaster level in 3 short months. From a certain point of view, it had not been easy to endure through these 3 months. Lindong was uncertain of just how many times he had escaped from the jaws of death during this period of time. These things are already useless. Shall we get rid of them? Lindong glanced at the eternal illusion demon flowers within the cave. Presently, these demon flowers were all in states of withering. It was clear that their power had been completely exhausted. However, these demon flowers were rather bizarre. Since he no longer had any use for them, it was best to eliminate them. Yang did not have any objections to this. Since Lindong had already achieved his aim, these things were useless. Lindong chuckled upon seeing this. He did not make any movements, but those eternal illusion demon flowers in the cave suddenly turned into dust that drifted downwards. Let's go, it's time to leave. Lindong stretched his waist again. He did not give the place another glance and directly walked out of the cave. Behind him, Yang nodded and turned into a flash of light which shot into Lindong's body. Lindong's footsteps paused as he walked out of the heavenly cave. He slightly tilted his body and looked towards the deepest part of the heavenly cave. When his mental energy had broken through to the symbol Grandmaster level earlier, he had used the ancestral symbol eye to see the figure in the deepest part of the heavenly cave. He was unable to detect an overly frightening aura from the silver-eyed figure, But his sharp senses told him that this person's strength was likely also at an extremely terrifying level. So terrifying that Lindong would not have even the slightest chance of victory if he was to fight against this person in his current state. I wonder just which old demon it is who has survived since those ancient times. Lindong seemed to mutter to himself. After which, he turned around, following the dark tunnel as he slowly exited the heavenly cave. It was a long while later before he walked out of the dark tunnel. Warm sunlight finally began to sprinkle down from the sky. As Lindong took a step forward, a quiet mountain range, which was accompanied by a majestic aura, entered into his sights. The peacefulness before his eyes caused Lindong to be a little mesmerized. He had never enjoyed such peace during the decade that he had spent in purgatory. "You have finally come out." A familiar yet seemingly distant voice was suddenly transmitted into Lindong's ear. After which, he saw a figure appeared beside him as a bewitchingly handsome face appeared before his eyes. Little Martin. Lindong was slightly startled as he looked at that extremely familiar face. Soon after, his lips parted into a smile. After which, he extended his arms and forcefully hugged the latter. The loneliness within the purgatory had been torture. Hence, he felt deeply emotional upon seeing these familiar faces. "What are you doing?" Little Martin was shocked by this sudden action of Lindong. However, his heart was a little moved by the emotions he felt from Lindong's hug. They had met when they were both extremely weak and helpless, and protected each other all the way here. This bond surpassed even that shared by brothers. Lindong quickly released his embrace. The smile on his face had also become a lot more natural. Clearly, he was gradually recovering from his memories of purgatory. "Are you all right?" Little Martin looked at Lindong strangely and involuntarily asked. Little Martin finally began to properly observe Lindong at this moment. Although it had been only 3 months since he had last seen the latter and the latter's appearance had not changed, he was still able to rely on his familiarity with Lindong to sense some differences from those pitch-black eyes. The current Lindong seemed to have suddenly become a lot older and unfathomable. This feeling was as though Lindong had been in seclusion within the heavenly cave for 30 years instead of just 3 months. "It's nothing." Lindong chuckled and said. He gently patted little Martin's shoulder. This appearance caused the latter to feel confused. "Ha ha, young friend Lindong, congratulations on advancing to the symbol Grandmaster level. Even within the celestial demon Martin tribe, only a handful have managed to attain such mental energy accomplishments." The heavenly demon Martin tribe leader also walked forward. His expression contained some surprise as his eyes swept over Lindong. Their tribe did possess some elders with astonishing mental energy cultivation. However, all of them had accumulated their strength over long periods of time. It was extremely rare to find a young symbol Grandmaster like Lindong. This junior is merely lucky. Lindong shook his head. If it was not because he had used the eternal illusion demon flowers to build the mysterious purgatory, it would likely require a couple of years in order to cross this frightening gully even with Yang's help. If one can rely on luck to break through to the symbol Grandmaster level, there will not be so few symbol Grandmasters in this world. The tribe leader of the celestial demon Martin tribe laughed. "Ha ha, it is likely that young friend Lindong is a little tired after returning from your seclusion. I believe that we should first let him rest for 1 or 2 days." First Elder Zhu Li laughed from the side. The leader of the celestial demon Martin tribe nodded. He spoke a little more to Lindong before leading his people away. All of them had been standing guard here while Lindong was in seclusion. "I will first bring you to rest. You seem to be a little out of sorts," Little Martin said. Lindong nodded. He did indeed need some time in order to completely free himself from the memories of purgatory and return to his usual self. Lindong remained within the celestial demon Martin tribe during the next 2 days, and finally made a full recovery after these 2 days of recuperation. The cruel training within the purgatory had already been deeply buried in his mind. However, the vast and mighty mental energy Lindong had obtained still pervaded his Niwen palace, letting him understand that the bitter training within purgatory was not without reward. Lindong sat on the edge of a cliff belonging to a lush green mountain. His eyes looked at the sea of trees below as he suddenly stretched. After which, he spoke in his mind, my mental energy had crossed the borders of space the day I exited my retreat and I saw the devouring divine palace. Oh! Yang cried out in a startled voice upon hearing this. Clearly, he did not expect Lindong to detect the existence of the devouring divine palace. The devouring divine palace seems to be hidden in another pocket dimension. It is impossible to detect its actual location. However, I am able to sense an increasingly violent and out-of-control energy from that pocket dimension. Therefore, it is likely that the pocket dimension where the devouring divine palace is hidden will emerge within a month. 1 month, huh? So soon? There will likely be quite a big commotion when that time comes. It is likely that the experts in the entire demon region will be able to detect it. Lindong slightly narrowed his eyes. The devouring divine palace's appearance would definitely stir a huge commotion the moment it appeared. Given the reputation of the devouring master during those ancient times, it was likely that all factions will greatly covert it. Moreover, not everyone knew that the devouring ancestral symbol was in Lindong's hands. Therefore, it was likely that even the 4 overlord tribes would have difficulty remaining calm when the devouring divine palace appeared. Although Lindong need not be worried about the dragon tribe and the celestial demon Martin tribe given his relation with them, there were still the other 2 equally powerful overlord tribes watching from the side. Most importantly, that omnipresent, devil prison, would likely also get involved when they learnt of this matter. At that time, it would not be easy for Lindong to obtain the inheritance of the devouring master in front of all those outstanding experts. However, Lindong smiled. There was a formidable look rising from the corners of his lips. I will not yield the inheritance of the devouring master to any of you. After resting for another 2 days in the celestial demon Martin tribe, Lindong decided to leave. As of now, the problem within the celestial demon Martin tribe had already been resolved. In fact, everything became orderly the moment the tribe leader left his seclusion. Furthermore, after what Hao Jirio did, all the elders who were previously on his side were rather anxious because they were afraid of being made to take responsibility. Hence, when the time came to select the tribe leader's successor again, they immediately sided with Little Martin in an attempt to right their wrongs. Therefore, Little Martin easily became the next tribe leader successor. These matters were considered the internal affairs of the celestial demon Martin tribe. Therefore, Lindong did not interfere. In fact, he was prepared to leave after saying his goodbyes to the tribe leader. However, before he could leave, Little Martin decided to tag along as well. According to him, since his father was around, the current celestial demon Martin tribe had nothing to worry about. Therefore, he had nothing to do if he stayed behind, and it was better for him to follow Lindong to the Beast War region instead. After some deliberation, Lindong did not reject this fellow, who insisted on following him. In any case, the devouring divine palace would appear in about a month and it would definitely cause a huge commotion. With Little Martin by his side, his lineup would become a little grander. It was 3 days later before the Lindong duo finally returned to Deep Lightning Mountain. However, when they first arrived at the sky above Deep Lightning Mountain, they were shocked by the liveliness and vitality of this boundless mountain range. Amidst the mountain range stood various halls and palaces. Meanwhile, a huge defensive light barrier rose around the mountain range, protecting the entire mountain range. Even though this defensive formation was far inferior to the tribe-guarding formation of the celestial demon Martin tribe, it was much better compared to the previous one. Moreover, groups of armored troops patrolled the sky, while the numerous densely packed figures in the many squares below looked as if they were training. Their low roars, which contained a potent murderous aura, gathered together before they spread into the distance, causing the air to vibrate. Pretty impressive. When Little Martin saw the scale of the current Deep Lightning Mountain, shock surfaced in his eyes as he laughed. He had came to Deep Lightning Mountain before. However, compared to before, the difference was like day and night. Lindong nodded. After his mental energy advanced to the symbol Grandmaster level, he no longer had to specifically scan the area. He immediately detected the many powerful auras present within this mountain range. Moreover, he was stunned when he realized that 5 of them had actually reached the Samsara stage. There are 2 additional unknown Samsara stage experts. Lindong's brow raised a little. According to his memory, the entire 4 Titans Palace only had 3 Samsara stage experts, the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio. Moreover, even Little Flame had to rely on his Tiger Devouring army in order to reach that level. Where did these 2 unknown Samsara stage experts come from? Don't tell me that there are actually ultimate Samsara stage experts that came over to join our 4 Titans Palace. Curiosity was piqued in Lindong's heart. An expert at that level could go to any place in the demon region and establish a faction. Yet, they actually came to join a relatively unknown 4 Titans Palace? This was indeed a little interesting. Let's go. Lindong smiled at little Martin. After which, he took the lead and rushed towards 4 Titans Palace. Along the way, their entry was detected by the patrol teams. Immediately, dozens of powerful auras surrounded them. However, the instant they saw Lindong, their cautious expressions turned to respect. Lindong waved his hands towards the powerful individuals from 4 Titans Palace who were about to bow and greet him. After which, they realized that their bodies had suddenly froze, and even the surging yuan power within their bodies seemed to have left their control. Those powerful individuals exchanged glances with each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. This was especially the case for the 2 leaders. Both of them were at the advanced profound death stage. Even though they were not considered part of the elite, they were quite powerful and it was no easy task for a Samsara stage expert to restrain them. However, to be even able to cause them to lose control over the yuan power in their bodies. In a short 3 months, Chief Lindong has become even more powerful and unfathomable. Where is Commander Yang? Lindong's gaze swept around and asked. Commander Yang is currently at the fighting arena on the main mountain. The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander and the other leaders are also there. Today is an important day. Lord Ju Yi and Lord Ju Li have come to join our 4 Titans Palace, the leader of the patrol respectfully replied. Ju Yi? Ju Li? Lindong lifted his brow. They are top experts who once dominated the Western Sand region. However, the Western Sand region was invaded by Mang Mountain not long ago and the faction under them collapsed. Right now, they wish to join our 4 Titans Palace to seek refuge. After all, over all these years, our 4 Titans Palace is the only faction that has survived after opposing Mang Mountain. So they have offended the 9 Phoenix tribe. Lindong smiled faintly. Oh well. In any case, he did not have a good impression of the 9 Phoenix tribe. Therefore, he would not treat the Ju Yi duo shabbily if they were sincere about joining 4 Titans Palace. The leader of the patrol glanced at the main mountain, before he suddenly dismissed his subordinates. Then, he softly whispered, Chief Lindong, although the Ju Yi duo came to seek refuge, it is rumored that they are quite arrogant. In fact, they even suggested that they should be given the same position as the 5 great leaders of 4 Titans Palace. Lindong's eyes hardened upon hearing this. After which, a grin surfaced from the corners of his lips. Were they trying to seek refuge or conduct a coup? The reason why the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio were given positions as one of the 5 great leaders was because they had made contributions. However, these 2, who appeared out of nowhere, actually wanted to have a similar position. 2 homeless strays actually dare to issue such demands? They truly don't know their limits. Lindong had yet to express his opinion when little Martin, who was standing beside him, coldly chuckled. The leader of this patrol was a veteran in Deep Lightning Mountain and he had met little Martin before. Hence, he naturally knew the latter's status. Immediately, he laughed, Master Martin is right. Commander Yang did not agree to their request as well. He merely used a delaying tactic and said that he will give an answer only after Chief Lindong returns. Lindong nodded. 2 ultimate Samsara stage experts were considered a huge gift. If they were absorbed, it would significantly boost the power of their 4 Titans Palace. That was most likely why Little Flame did not immediately send them packing. Since they dare to make such outrageous demands, let's go and find out how powerful those 2 fellows, who were forced to flee by the 9 Phoenix tribe, are. Lindong smiled. He turned to look at that burly-looking patrol leader before he asked, "That's right, what is your name?" "This subordinate is called Hui Yuan. I have been Commander Yang's subordinate since back when he was still General Yang of Deep Lightning Mountain." The leader of the patrol rejoiced upon hearing this as he hurriedly replied, "Hui Yuan. Well done. Lead the way." Lindong laughed. This was someone that he could use in future. Understood. Hui Yuan had an excited expression. He understood Four Titans Palace very well. Although it claimed to have 5 great leaders, most of the matters were decided by Commander Yang and the Heaven Dragon trio. However, if they failed to come to an agreement, the one who had the final say was Chief Lindong. Hence, strictly speaking, Lindong held the highest position amongst the 5 of them. However, this was something that most outsiders did not know. Now that he was able to make a good impression on this true hidden leader, he knew that he would definitely have a bright future in Four Titans Palace as long as he remained loyal. The fighting arena on the main mountain of Four Titans Palace. This fighting arena was extremely spacious. Currently, the arena was packed and appeared exceptionally lively. Not only were the many members of the upper echelons of Four Titans Palace present, but even Little Flame and the 3 other leaders had showed up. As such, it was an exceptionally grand scene. Over 100 figures stood below the stone steps of the main arena. However, they appeared extremely relaxed and most of them were smiling mischievously. This was in sharp contrast to the stern-looking fully armored members of Four Titans Palace. Some of the more powerful individuals from Four Titans Palace frowned slightly upon seeing this. Following the complete reorganization of Four Titans Palace, it was no longer as disorderly as before. Their strict rules also allowed their Four Titans Palace to turn into a massive organization that one could not underestimate. Hence, they felt a little unhappy with this outlaw-like group. Although they felt displeased, none of them showed it. All they did was cast their attention towards the 4 figures on the stage. Amongst the 4 of them, Little Flame was considered the leader. Although he was merely at the perfect profound death stage, the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander and the rest knew that Little Flame would not lose to them in a fight. This, along with his relationship with Lindong, made them extremely polite towards Little Flame. Little Flame indifferently glanced at the group in front of him. After which, he turned his attention towards the front of the group where 2 figures were lazily standing. Although they were behaving more appropriately than the subordinates behind them, there was still a trace of haughtiness on their faces. "This is my Four Titans Palace. If you do not behave yourselves, perhaps I will have to ask my tiger devouring army to issue you a warning." Little Flame's tiger eyes surveyed the entire place before he spoke in a faint voice. "Roar?" Little Flame's voice had only just sounded, when the over 1,000 members strong tiger devouring army standing guard here released a low roar. Moreover, their roar seemed to come from a single body. Immediately, a black aura surged and directly transformed into a ferocious black tiger. Its brutal aura dashed through the clouds. The expressions of the 100-men group changed when they saw this scene. After which, their expressions became a little unnatural. Though they were rather powerful, they knew that they were just like a mob when compared to this orderly tiger devouring army. "Ha ha, Commander Yang, please do not be angry. My subordinates are too used to acting as they please and they still do not know how to behave themselves now that they are in a different place. It'll be better in future." A grey-clothed middle-aged man standing in front laughed. "Brother Ju Yi, I do not care about how you people behaved in the past. However, now that you wish to join our Four Titans Palace, you will have to obey our rules." The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander laughed as he said, "Brother Heaven Dragon is right." The other person standing beside Ju Yi also smiled and nodded. After which, he looked at Little Flame and crossed both of his arms together as he slowly said, "However, Commander Yang, regarding our request, may I know what your decision is? We are famous and reputable men in the Western Sand region. Now that we sincerely hope to join your Four Titans Palace, it shouldn't be overboard to give us a leader position, am I right?" Little Flame frowned. Meanwhile, a look of hesitation flashed across the eyes of the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio. "Ha ha, Commander Yang. Judging by your actions, it seems like you are looking down on us brothers. Ju Yi smiled faintly upon seeing this. In that case, I think we should forget about it. This place is far too big. Perhaps us brothers should not stay any longer. Ju Li revealed a mocking smile before he waved his hand and proceeded to leave with his men. Ha ha, from the way I see it, it is not my four titans' palace looking down on the both of you. Rather, it seems like the both of you are looking down on my four titans' palace. What do you take my four titans' palace as? A place you can choose to come and go as you please. However, a faint laughter suddenly descended from the sky after Ju Li's body moved. After which, countless pairs of eyes looked upwards and saw the Lindong duo. Lindong was hovering in the sky. His eyes contained a playful glint as he stared at the Ju Yi duo. Meanwhile, an iciness radiated from the smile on his lips. According to our rules, what should we do to anyone who dares to look down on our Four Titans Palace? Kill. Every expert from Four Titans Palace standing on the fighting arena cried out in a frosty and orderly voice as their eyes suddenly became ice cold. Their icy voices were accompanied by astonishing murderous desire as they reverberated across the sky. The Ju Yi duo's expressions finally changed after they felt this killing intent. Killing intent shrouded the sky, and it felt as if the temperature had drastically fallen. Fear was revealed on the faces of the previously merrily laughing group, while the smiles on their faces had finally disappeared. Originally, they had thought that with the two leaders bringing them to join Four Titans Palace, the latter would definitely lower themselves and try to welcome them. Yet, the scene before them now. It seemed that Four Titans Palace did not feel that they must absolutely have the Ju Yi duo join them like the latter had imagined. The Ju Yi duo were also startled because of this sudden turn of events. Soon after, they lifted their heads to look at the two unfamiliar figures in the air and frowned slightly. Clearly, they did not know the identities of these two. Big brother. However, just as fury was rising in their hearts, Little Flame's joyous voice stunned them. Their eyes flashed, and only then did they look at this young skinny figure with surprise. Other than that rarely seen Lindong, there was no one else Commander Yan of Four Titans Palace would call Big Brother. In the air, Lindong smiled at Little Flame. After which, he landed on the ground. Ha ha, Brother Lindong, you have finally returned. The Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio grinned and said after seeing Lindong. Their eyes involuntarily paused on the latter when they spoke. Although it had only been 3 months since they last met, they could feel that Lindong was very different from before for an inexplicable reason. Although Lindong's fighting strength was already extremely overwhelming previously, his cultivation was merely that of the advanced profound death stage. Unless he was in his battle mode, the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio would not detect any pressure from him. After all, they were genuine Samsara stage experts. Lindong was able to rely on his many techniques to raise his fighting strength, but a gap still existed between them. Now however, the vast and mighty ocean-like yuan power within their bodies had become a little sluggish for some unknown reason when they looked at Lindong. This was due to a certain kind of pressure. Moreover, it was very obvious that this pressure originated from Lindong. The three of them secretly exchanged glances. They could see the astonishment within each other's eyes. Big Brother, Little Flame walked over and glanced at the Ju Yi duo. Yes, I am already aware of the situation. Lindong nodded. Soon after, he faintly laughed. Samsara stage experts are indeed a great help, but if they aren't suitable, it will instead cause the faction that we have built with great effort to be jeopardized. From the looks of it, the Ju Yi duo were clearly extremely proud individuals. Such people might be strong, but if no one suppressed them, they would only cause internal chaos within Four Titans Palace. At that time, this huge organization that they had created with much difficulty would end up collapsing. Lindong was also well aware that he must not give in when faced with such arrogant individuals. Otherwise, they would only take advantage and it will be even more difficult to suppress them in future. Little Flame nodded. He also understood this point. However, the Ju Yi duo were indeed powerful. Within Four Titans Palace, even the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio would have difficulty obtaining a clear victory in a one-on-one fight. It was precisely because of this that trying to forcefully suppress the pride of these two was not an easy task. Leave this to me. Lindong smiled as an indescribable expression flashed across his eyes. Amongst the 5 great leaders in the newly established Four Titans Palace, the individual strengths of both Little Flame and himself did not stand out. The reason he could suppress the Samsara Stage Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio was mainly because he possessed the identity of the Dragon Tribe Punishment Elder and his shocking battle power. Although the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander trio appeared quite respectful, it was unavoidable that they would feel some unease deep within their hearts. The demonic beast world honored strength. Lindong's advanced profound death stage strength would ultimately cause them to feel some discomfort in their hearts. Lindong had been well aware of this in the past. However, due to his strength having yet to reach the necessary level, he did not make any moves. Things were different now. With the advancement of his mental energy to the symbol Grandmaster level, just his mental energy cultivation alone meant that ordinary Samsara stage experts would no longer be a match for him. This was the best time to create a deterrence to those outside and within the faction. Ha ha, this must be Brother Lindong, right? We have long heard of your name. The complexions of the Ju Yi duo gradually recovered. They looked at Lindong, cupped their hands together and smilingly said, "Those who come are guests. Please forgive us if there is any way we have failed to take care of you. However, you should seek to understand the rules of my Four Titans Palace." Lindong faintly smiled and said, "That is only natural." Ju Yi nodded. His gaze quickly shifted as he said, "But we also hope Brother Lindong can understand our difficulties. We have brought our subordinates here. If we fail to gain some kind of position, we will neither have the face to see them nor be able to account to them. Why is someone who has been chased away by the 9 Phoenix tribe speaking about face? Isn't that a little comical?" Little Martin coldly laughed. His laughter was filled with ridicule. "What did you say?" The expressions of the Ju Yi duo instantly changed upon hearing these words as they furiously roared. "Are you deaf? Can't you hear what Grandpa Martin has said?" Little Martin's eyes suddenly became ice cold. He took a step forward as a monstrously baleful aura directly spread over the entire place. "Do you think that you are qualified to shout in front of Grandpa Martin? The 9 Phoenix tribe was able to force you to flee. Don't tell me that my Celestial Demon Martin tribe still needs to be courteous to the both of you." Celestial Demon Martin tribe. The expressions of Ju Yi duo stiffened almost immediately while the rage in their eyes froze. They were a little stunned as they looked at the bewitchingly handsome face of Little Martin, who wore the mocking smile of someone looking down on them. The words that were about to emerge from the Ju Yi duo's mouth were forcibly swallowed by them. They did not expect that this person in front of them was actually from the Celestial Demon Martin tribe. "Ha ha, please do not mind him. My second brother always has such a temper. He is the tribe leader successor of the Celestial Demon Martin tribe. Therefore, his character is a little bad." Lindong smiled warmly. However, the words he said did not match his expression. Nevertheless, it was likely that the Ju Yi duo understood his meaning. Tribe leader successor. The corners of Ju Yi's eyes twitched rapidly. He felt greatly shocked in his heart. Both of them had been forced into such a miserable state after merely offending an elder within the 9 Phoenix tribe. This person in front of them was actually the tribe leader successor of the Celestial Demon Martin tribe. This position was many times higher than that of an elder. If they were to offend him, it was likely that they could forget about staying in this demon region. This Four Titans Palace actually has such a relationship with the Celestial Demon Martin tribe. Ju Yi's heart pounded. The arrogance originally present on his face had greatly diminished. Those subordinates behind him also shuddered. Regardless of how stupid one was, one could still clearly see that something was not quite right with this situation. With the backing of the Celestial Demon Martin tribe, Four Titans Palace did not need to hold their pathetic group in high regard. "Brother Ju Yi, we are aware that you have offended the 9 Phoenix tribe. Now, the other party has said that they wish to deal with you. However, as long as you join Four Titans Palace, the 9 Phoenix tribe will not dare to act as they please. Brother Lindong is also the punishment elder of the Dragon tribe, a position personally appointed by the tribe leader. Behind our four Titans palace are two overlord tribes, the Dragon tribe and the celestial demon Martin tribe. What would the 9 Phoenix tribe dare to do? The Heaven Dragon demon commander also laughed at this moment. Celestial demon Martin tribe. Dragon tribe. The Ju-Yi duo faced each other. Their mouths were rather dry. Two of the 4 strongest overlord tribes in the demonic beast world were actually backing for Titan's palace? No wonder the 9 Phoenix tribe did not dare to cause much trouble when Mang Mountain ended up withdrawing in a defeated manner after attacking the Beast War region. I am aware that you have some grudges with a certain elder of the 9 Phoenix tribe. I cannot guarantee anything, but I can tell you that my 4 Titans palace might be one of your very limited choices in order to find an opportunity to take revenge and avoid being taken revenge on by the 9 Phoenix tribe. Lindong smiled faintly. He stared at the Ju-Yi duo, whose expressions were fluctuating, as he continued, of course, if you people do not feel any enmity towards those who have uprooted the faction that you established with much effort and chased you away like homeless strays, you can treat it as though I have not said anything. The expressions of the Ju-Yi duo had become completely dark after Lindong's word sounded. There was a dense hatred surging within their eyes. They were top experts in the Western Sand region. Yet, their reputation was completely ruined this time around. Fleeing all over the place and trying to seek protection was really something that the both of them could not bear. Such an enmity was extremely great. How can we forget? Us brothers will definitely turn that old dog into mincemeat within our lifetime. Ju-Yi gnashed his teeth and said, Brother Lindong, I am aware of the meaning behind your words. We have been too arrogant in 4 Titans Palace earlier. I hope that Brother Lindong can be magnanimous and forgive our offense. Ju-Yi cupped his hands together, faced Lindong and said. At this moment, they had finally begun to understand that they had no choice but to join 4 Titans Palace if they wished to seek revenge. For Titans Palace has strict rules. If you wish to join, you will be members of 4 Titans Palace in future. You should be able to guess the outcome of not following the rules. Lindong's sharp eyes stared at Ju-Yi's group as he slowly said. The Ju-Yi duo exchanged a look. They subsequently clenched their teeth and nodded. Now, do you wish to obtain a leader position in 4 Titans Palace? Lindong crossed his fingers and laughed faintly after seeing that the pride of these two had been suppressed. Brother Lindong really knows how to joke. We are already extremely grateful that you have accepted us. We do not dare to make such an over-the-top request. Ju-Yi laughed bitterly. Although he hid a sliver of dissatisfaction in his heart, his group was currently unqualified to display it at such a time. For Titan's Palace could do without them, but they could not do without the protection of 4 Titans Palace if they wished to seek revenge. I can give the both of you a chance if you wish to have a leader position in 4 Titans Palace. Whether you can grasp this opportunity will depend on your ability. Lindong smiled faintly as he looked at the 2 people below. What kind of chance? The Ju-Yi duo lifted their heads. Their eyes were searing hot as they stared at Lindong. Lindong slowly extended his hand. After which, he slowly beckoned under the stunned expressions of the Heaven Dragon Demon Commander and the rest. Attack together and defeat me. The entire place fell into an uproar. This video will end here.